Greetings, everyone. Greetings, peace and love, peace and love. Welcome. First and foremost, this is Brother Rojo from Powerful Pioneers community of resource services and network. This is our website here. You know, true health is wealth, what we talk about, and true wealth is health. Practicing spiritual economics, giving thanks. I'm not going into specifically pioneers at this time. I want to recap from the Power Series. The first Power Series we did about a while ago, which was around 2021. I actually did this presentation before this. I recorded this and posted up around this time. And basically, the theme of the series is called Power and Work, the Power Series. Now, today I'm going to go over the other 4 parts, which is going to be altogether a 5-part series. Now, I recommend everyone check out this Power Series just so you can get an idea of what is what. You know, we talk about the origin of the power and work. We went over the 2 types of power, from the physical power to the spiritual power, the physical work, the spiritual work, the different concepts in relation to it. We even touch on some of the biblical science in relation to it. Definitely powerful information. We talk about the Job story, very, very informative. We also touch on some of the science of the Power Series. For those who haven't seen the Power Series, you know, stars. We talk about some of the science of the stars. Every day a star is born. We hear those concepts, you know, aiming for the stars, the youths, the stars. Metaphysically, stars represent the beneficiaries. Number 3, which is understanding our children. The children are the stars. Giving thanks. We are the stars. So in that science, there's a lot of information in relation to these series that's out, and also touching into the topic discussion, the science of work, metaphysically, and power divinely. We also went into the position of power, the difference between normal and natural. We also touch on, you know, some of the other science of what we're doing to move on our spiritual power in real time. So today we're gonna go into the other 4-part series. I was going to break it down into series, each 4 parts, but I'm gonna just incorporate these 4 into one. Definitely, again, check out this one right here. It's on Powerful Pioneer TV, Empowerment Sunday, Part 1. Definitely check this out. I have a lot of information. So let's go straight into the Power Series. Again, the second part of the series is called Straight A's. We talk about j.o.b, j.o.b. You know, some people call it just over broke. You know, we're going to touch on the spiritual economic, author empowerment, some of the things we're doing to write down our story, because the power of Tahuti. So, you know, one of the things we touch on with the whole Power Series, dealing with our spiritual power in relation to religion, economics in relation to work, our worth. You know, we talk about in Pioneer the science of being self-worth and self-full. You know, break away from the selfishness. You know, nothing wrong with those 3, but it's always about my balance. If you put those 3 on the scale, you know, which one where it fall under, you can do that homework. So the first power science we're going to touch on is work. You know, your first work. We have 12 hours in a day. And within that 12 hours in a day, you know, we have the sun, 24 hours in a day, I apologize. Within those 24 hours, we have the breakdown of the 12. So we have 12 hours, which when we break 12, that's number 3, which is neutral. We go into that with the supreme mathematics, where we talk about some of those science on, you know, the numbers. So, you know, 12 break down into 3. That's understanding, which 1 and 2 is wisdom and knowledge. So again, when we go into the 12 hours of sunrise, we talk about the sun. Within that 12 hours, we have the science of the sun, represent the masculine principle, the father, the SON, the raw energy, the settler. When we even talk about the legal and lawful concept, these aspects is very important when it comes to power and work. What do you do during the 12 hours of sunrise in your day? And 12 hours sunrise is as important as the 12-hour sunset, which we deal with the feminine energy, the moon energy, the womb man, the trustee, the earth, Mother Earth. We in Earth season right now. For those who don't know, going into this summer solstice, we honor our mothers of Earth, the wisdom, So these 12 hours, these 12 hours, which represent 24 hours, sunrise and sunset, is very important to us empowering ourselves, building up our spiritual power, our physical power, and also when it comes to our work, it's all about, like we see here, ma'at, balance, bringing down that balance, having understanding. The children are the stars. We talk about that. The children, the beneficiary, they balance everything, giving thanks. So as we go into the power series, there's 3 levels. We talk about our ancestral level, the spiritual aspect. We touch on the unseen aspect, the I within. Even when we go into the supreme mathematics, we go into the freedom and culture, number 4, freedom and culture. We talk about the 4, what represent the 4 elements: fire, earth, air, water. These different things that we should know as far as this is all part of our power. These things were the first thing that was given to us as our divine work, and some of the things that we do to empower ourselves, utilizing our senses. We have our eyes to see, hear, smell, all of the different senses, taste, the subject matter, which we talk about, mathematics, science, language, art, the art of language, history, global study, all these things that we learn from the outside, that we put so much work into, so much power from the outside. It's all about bringing it within and bringing that power back within, giving thanks. So again, looking at that first series again, talking about some of the spiritual aspect of power, work, some of the things that started from the beginning, past, present, and future. We talk about the elders being a representation of the past. So we learn from our elders, honor your elders for your days to be longer and stronger. Talk about the adults. The adults representing what? The present, being at its present state. Being that gift to humanity, that light to the world. We give thanks for all of our adults, our parents out there, and the future, the children being the beneficiary, the stars, the understanding. So the elders are the wisdom, the knowledge, giving thanks. The adults are the present is the wisdom, and the future is the understanding. And when we go into some of the aspect of legal and lawful, we talk about the man being the settler. We went over that, and the purpose, knowing the purpose. The woman being the trustee, understanding the concept of trust, being building trust, knowing how to maintain that purpose, maintain things. The children being the beneficiary, having the knowledge to continue the legacy. So when we talk about the whole concept of power, work, and this whole power series, time is everything. That's why we put this right here. Time is everything. How you spend your time building your spiritual power. expressing your power to the world divinely, your spiritual work, your divine work that you're doing. You know, we seen what happened with the whole shutdown and everything going on, with everything opening back up. We're going to talk about that and the snap and everything in our next series. But right now, as we touch on the power series number 2, we talk about taking your work seriously, being able to take your work seriously, mind your business. Why it's important to mind your business. You know, watching everybody else, you know, we see what's happening. We all have our divine purpose, our divine work, our divine power. Stop living and eating like slaves. We talk about that, the alkaline lifestyle, becoming a master of your destiny. You can receive any and all of these degrees. But what happens naturally, it's all about, like I showed y'all before, the balance, my eye. You know, one of the science that we're doing with our meditation is write down 50 people that are influential in your life. And these are the what we consider the personality, directly and indirectly, we embarked on as far as taking on them as influential people in our life. So one of the things we share, be mindful of, you know, entertaining the television, you know, the television world. Giving thanks. Even when we talk about time here and we talk about how we spend our time, most of the people, we say, what are we waking up to? What are we waking up? You know, what purpose are you fulfilling when it comes to work and your job? You know, we rise up. There's a difference between breaking fast and breakfast, right? That liquid, you know, we talk about that in the alkaline lifestyle. Difference between breaking fast and breakfast. So it's 24 hours in a day. We have our breakfast. We break fast, we have our breakfast. You know, now the pros and cons with the breakfast and break fast is all part of our power, building up our work. You know, taking the pros of breaking fast is taking the time for self, taking your liquid foods, making sure you have your liquid foods. It's all part of building up that physical power. And some of the cons is, you know, one is getting up for work in the sense of rising up, putting in energy for someone else and not taking any time for themselves first, you know? So one of the things we strive to be is self-employed, in that sense of being able to dedicate your time, have the power to build up your time to do the things you need to do, prepare your meal, instead of rushing out and eating a commercial meal just because you got to make it on time for someone else's business, you know, which of course, you know, you have that responsibility, you know what you got to do, move on in real time. These things are all part of the science, you know, of not only building up your spiritual power, but knowing your work and being able to move in real time, rising up to break fast, or what? Having breakfast, having your liquid foods and your solid food, you know? So what you rising up for? To break fast, or you rushing for breakfast to go on the clock? We even talk about that when it comes to lunch. But you guys, you doing lunch for what? To clock off the clock, go eat lunch real quick to gain that energy and go back and build up someone else's dream? Or taking that lunch, that brunch, naturally eating your greens, eating your chlorophyll, because you know the importance of having those things during the midday time, right? When the sun is at the highest peak, because it's giving you the energy that you need to not only to sustain and retain the power, internal power that you're expressing externally, but also continue your spiritual work, your work. That fuel, that energy. We give thanks, power, work, Understand, again, go back to that serious right here. So as we move forward and you hear and you see some of the things that I'm sharing with you in regards to these series that I'm sharing, touching on power and work, we understand some of the fundamentals. Same thing when it comes to dinner time. You know, a lot of times what, according to the commercial ways of doing things, we eat these big plate, large plate after a certain time, you know, to maintain that energy or whatever power we need to sustain. But again, we're about to close the night out. So you shouldn't fill your stomach up going into sunset time. Because sunset time, there's a certain procedure. So you can maintain that inner spiritual power preparing for the next day. So to have a light meal, you know, a super meal, light meal is very, very good. Very, very conducive, retaining the energy and building yourself up for the next day. 24 hours in a day, what are you doing with your time? How are you building your power, your energy? You know, 24 hours in a day. What are you doing with your time? We even talk about the 8 hours, you know, you have your 12-hour sunrise, your 12-hour sunset, you know, within that 12 hours, you know, you have your 8 hours for work, for your work day. Then for the sunset time, you have your 8 hour for your rest time for those who get a chance to rest, you know, that amount. Some people, you know, do 4 hours, not even that amount. So when we break down those times, you know, you have probably about 8 hours remaining to do what? What are you going to do in them 8 hours? Time management, 24 hours in a day to build up your power, to build up, to move on your divine work. Of course, we can't forget about taking our showers and our other things that we need to do to recharge and all the other basic things. We start to squeeze that into the days just to be able to, you know, fulfill our fullness, to build that inner spiritual power. You know, some of the pros we do is, you know, reading, cooking, exercising, cleaning, you know, building relationship with our families, of course, studying, contemplating, meditating, reflecting, introspection, outside of, you know, the other things that one can partake in, which I don't need to touch on that because that's powerless. We're talking about being powerful here. You know, waking up for what? Waking up to be inspired to create for another day, produce, make things happen, invention. Salute to all of our inventors. Practice spiritual economics, practice your craft, you know, build and move on your purpose. You know, we understand the opposite of what take place when one don't know what to do with their time. So again, this series is about straight A's, you know, straight A's. Power, the power of, you know, having straight A's, you know, in school, you know, when we look at this sign right here, we see the A+. That's a great thing, you know, the plus, positive is always, we know, with the positive. The A, of course, alpha, you know, giving thanks. And, you know, we go into the supreme mathematics and alpha, supreme alphabets too. We understand what that is. Then, of course, you know, we got the red. When we understand in law, red represents, you know, living. Only the teachers have the power to write with the red pen. You know, the black and the blue pen is for the others. The red pen is for a certain status. Power represents the work. So when that teacher put great work with the star on there, you remember the star represent the beneficiaries, the ones who benefit, the great work. What work? Your physical work to the world, or is it your spiritual work? You know, when somebody see this, you know, that A+ build a power. You know, for those who understand, you know, that's power to have that A+. Is it spiritual power, physical power? We talk about, you know, the power of the A. in our power series 2, where we talk about the power of the A, we talk about acknowledgement, application, acceptance. We go into acknowledging yourself, of course, your family, others amongst you, giving thanks, others before you, situation at hand, the acknowledgement, that A plus is important to acknowledge, the application aspect of it to apply things in real time, to, submit to the real things that's happening, review, of course, the acceptance aspect, being able to receive, approve, validate, qualify. This is one of the reasons why we talk about with the A's and having that straight A's, building up that your power and work. Again, we talk about author empowerment, the power of writing your story, the power of Tahuti, writing your story. Author empowerment. When we talk about author empowerment, we also go into the power of author authentication. And we also talk about authority, the 3 A's. The author, having knowledge of self, the writing, the Tahuti skills, so the writing skills. It's the science of writing. It's dealing with arts and culture. We even touch on that. Arts and culture is in relation to one's art, dealing with one's culture, giving thanks. School of life, as a science. We use arts and culture to teach our youths, being that was one of the science of school, and utilizing the power of Tahuti to writing, straight A's. And authors have the power now to authenticate their words. This is where we go through those rites of passage, being the elders, approve of it. There's a saying, you must be verified by someone qualified in order to be certified. Authentication, books go through certain rites of passage, copywritten, rites of passage, whatever, publishing, so it can be validated publicly, commercially. You can write a story, of course, and just give it to family. Will it build that power that you want? Yes, in a certain way. But now if you commercializing it in a certain way, there's certain rites of passage. And that takes work. That's all part of work too. All these authors you see, they had to put work in, take time off their work to create this. And now that's a form of generating income. What we talk about in Pioneer spiritual economics, which it builds a certain type of power in the community to know that, wow, you wrote these books. I've been trying to write my story. I've been telling people my story all my life. You wrote these books. That's power. You must have been putting in some work there. We give one the other A, authority. Again, we going into them straight A's when we talking about power and work. So authority, it give one authority. Now I want to have the authority to, just like how you have these religious books, which you have these writing that bring authority amongst certain people, certain communities. Put you in position of power, having influence. The authorities even become what we talk in legal term, legislatives, respond, having people who can respond to their ability, becoming responsible. So yeah, definitely, that was part 2, series 2, power and work, straight A's, talking about the whole job concept, dealing with the supreme mathematics tool. We talk about, the power of numbers. We're going to be tapping into a lot of these science on numbers and how it relates alphanumeric. So definitely stay tuned. So yeah, that's part 2, right there, series 2, power and work, straight A's. And again, feel free to check out the power series 1, which I break down, specific scriptures and information you can research so you can do your extra due diligence outside of what I'm sharing. As we go into part 3 series, which I'm going straight into right here, we go into, the whole science of becoming powerful, in the power series. Now, we know that it's more than just the power one have. It's about becoming what? Powerful, the science of becoming powerful. And when we was talking about the whole power series, we went into some of the science of, the different aspect of the past, where you have this whole concept of ghosts, of the whole Holy Ghost concept, the spirit. Like I said, we talk about practicing spiritual economics, and in this series, we're going to be talking about some things that's what's happening now, some things that happened between 2019, which we know what happened with between 2019 and now with the shutdown and everything. A lot of these movies and stuff that's happening is kind of interrelation. So, one of the artists, Midnight, came out with a song, and he said, real life and movie don't separate, don't separate no more. And you see, they playing it out. When you look at this series here, when I talk about the whole, what stars did, remember stars represent 3, understanding, supreme mathematics, the children understanding. The stars represent the series that's happening with this power series. And the power series started off with the whole ghost concept. And of course, it breaks down from, from the inside out. Power and work, we talk about those 2 aspects. The spiritual work that you have to do naturally, and also the expression of what you're doing physically. And then, of course, the spiritual power that one has and the expression of it, in the physical aspect, and how it's played out in this whole series right here, where, again, I'm recapping. So as I go into this portion with the powerful, how it all connects. This power series also have an interconnection indirectly, of course, and directly with the whole Marvel series that's been happening since the snap with Thanos and everything. So I shared it, but I'm gonna show it. So as y'all understand what I've been sharing before, again, you have this this ghost concept, the whole Holy Ghost, the ghost, and the passing down this knowledge to the children, the next generation. We talk about that, where we talk about the whole science of the Adam principle and the garden, and in the past, where you had that whole Cain and Abel concept that came up, but that came up afterwards with the whole BMF, where you have the 2 science, the 2 brothers, the 2 principle of the Abel and Cain principle, and the collision and what happened. I ain't going into that story. I already went into it. I'm just showing y'all with the BMF, it kind of like played out that whole series, and how they play the series timeline. If you check it out, I don't have the timeline breaking down on that sense, but if you break down the timeline, it showed you how it started with the whole Power Ghost series, and how it went to the whole concept of what they call, again, this is it right here, the Power series. And from the Power series, you had the birth of his son, who continue in the 6th portion. When you're dealing with 6, with the supreme math, you're dealing with equality, but there's some other things when you're dealing with that number 6 too, so they did 6 power series that also birthed that ghost series with his son, and of course, with the whole power series that they created, they went back to the origin of the whole raising Canaan, you know, and I talk about that too in a workshop where, you know, they started off again when we break down the Adam and Eve concept and the whole Cain, the Canaanites, the Cain slaying his brother Abel, Cain birthing his own group, you know, and you had the Canaanites, and then you have the whole concept here, the raising Canaan aspect. You know, you even see him having the little sign he throwing up there. That's another story, but the whole raising Canaan, right? And then from the raising Canaan, you have this ghost series, which they play on the energy of the two brothers, the two concept of the two brothers, the Cain and Abel aspect, the Jacob and Esau concept, the concept of sacrificing, you know, for power, for work, the whole serpent energy, that spiritual warfare goes into it, fighting over what they call fighting over talent. Fighting over talent. You know, we went over that too. What talent mean? That's a form of money. Form of money. It's what they're fighting over, for power, for work. We went over the top concept of kill, envy. Yeah, so you even see it on this right here, this documentary. I definitely show some of the depiction of the whole Cain and Abel concept, the whole energy. This documentary, Blood Brothers, Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali, definitely check it out. It also touch on that whole energy of the whole BMF kind of concept and the Cain and Abel energy. Very, very powerful documentary. Very powerful documentary. So yes, so that whole concept of the whole brother coming together, unifying, fighting over whatever. Again, went over all that information on this right here, this presentation, Power Series Part 1. Feel free to check it out. They also launched the Force. And I didn't go into that in that first presentation, but that force, we already know that force, the enforcing of some of these different power energy, some of these different works out here. And what does that mean? Now, as we go into that in relation to what I was sharing with you with Marvel, what I want to share with you with Marvel, let's go into 2019 to February 2020. There was a lot of stuff that took place, y'all. A lot of stuff that took place before, again, a lot of this, the whole first Thanos snap, which we know about the whole Thanos snap. Before that, there was a lot of beautiful things happening, a lot of people breaking, a lot of great deals business-wise, showing their entrepreneurship work, you know, transitioning from the commercial work to working independently, and some deciding, you know, harmonizing their spiritual work with their actual work that they're doing for humanity, building up their power, people showing their power, you know, in their community, in their family, you know, building up their spiritual power. There's a lot of great things that was happening during that time. And then all of a sudden the snap happened, blah, in the Marvel world, in the whole commercial world. But again, that same snap that happened reflect on the snap that happened with the whole pandemic. You know, people were forced to use computer, you know, turn their phone into their personal business, the Thanos snap, the whole shift that happened. You know, there was also the contract that was not only breached, but there was a lot of other things that happened on a commercial, legal, lawful level when it comes to contracts. That's on another presentation, but very, very important to the snap that happened. And again, it all represents the whole concept of number 8 right here. Number 8, to destroy and rebuild. the destroy and rebuild. So the Thanos snap happened, and things started getting chaotic. Things happened. We know what happened. A lot of transition happened. Salute to rest in power, Dr. Layla Africa. Even the Black Panther brother transition. We know what happened with that. We had some great people commercially who show their power in an external, and they work externally and also in our in our people's spiritual or personal life, made a transition as well. And with that, this other snap, that Thanos, or the other snap that happened in the Avengers was like represent the snap that had things back in motion in the real world. That was beginning around April 2021 to around October 2021. Around that time, there was a lot of those shifts happening with the second snap, bringing things back into motion. There was a lot of shift that happened where that was a time where people needed to know themselves even more. What work are you doing when things were shut down and things reopened? And what work are you doing out there in the world? And how does that reflect the work that you're doing spiritually? What power are you looking to express? Because to the world out there, outside of the divine power that you mastering within yourself. So this snap was very important to that reality check for a lot of people. And that brought us into, that October 2021 to January 2022, where, you had this movie, The Celestial, that came out. And The Celestial that came out, or should I say the Eternal movies that came out, breakdown. There was a lot of high power science in that movie, which those who know about these science, the web, the Spider-Man, the web. Again, when that snap happened, before that, since 1999, we knew about the whole trap of the web, getting people on this website. Everybody's starting to do business virtually, going to show their power on the web, and the whole push of the computer age. And during that shift time, this was heavily pushed to do business. So a lot of people who, naturally didn't master building up their village and their tribe, their community amongst this whole shift that was happening, were kind of like indirectly trapped, having to kind of work on these platforms, on the web. So with this whole Eternal movie coming out, this movie broke down a lot of high power science, going into the shift of the metaverse, multiverse, and all these different things that's taking place not only in the real world, but what Hollywood is expressing as well. So, during, of course, that time, we had the variants, different variant strains, in the real world, and in this commercial world, they had the deviants, and they talk about the different sides of the deviants in relation to that movie Externals, also going into the Celestials, which, you can do your research. I'm not here to go into all that. That's not my lane. I'm just connecting the dots in relation to the time shift and things that was happening during those time leading into this time in relation to building yourself to become powerful. Remember, this is the power series, power and work. And when we talk about power in these times, it's more than just being power. You must be powerful. And how do you become full of power? In Celestial, in the movie Celestial, Eternals, they unify together. They unify together as a village. to show their power, to eliminate the deviants. Yes. And they come together to unify to even maintain the celestial from destroying, humanity. So check out the movies. You can, do your due diligence. I know they probably have so much stuff online in regards to it too, but I definitely want to give y'all a heads up in relation to it. And then that lead us into, again, everything happening online. Everybody putting that power and they work online on the web. We've seen the shift between October 2021 to January 2022. There's been a lot of shift. And then from January 2022 to even March 2022, again, the power and work. Most people put their power, putting all their energy online, on the web, on the spider web. They put in their power and they work online. What's happening naturally? Now everything is now becoming what we seen the last Spider-Man movie. He ended up cracking what? The multiverse, right? He ended up cracking the multiverse. And now you have this multiverse of madness, which even in that sense, you have the metaverse, you have metaphysics, you have all these different things in relation to that whole concept that right now to come out with a movie, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, what's been happening for the past 3 years, a few years in relation to strange things happening to doctors. And now people getting into this multiverse virtual system, being trapped in this web where even right now, things is open. They trying to get people back into the buildings for work. They trying to find so much ways to get people to get in the building. We need y'all in this building to work. No more on the web. No more trapped in the multiverse of madness. Let me stop. So definitely this movie also dropped some high power science. And, throughout the shift, of course, we know the spring equinox shift took place leading into the summer solstice that's coming up. This movie was supposed to drop during the beginning of the spring equinox. They push it back. I think it dropped recently, and it's preparing for the summer solstice, which this is one of the reasons why we're doing our 21-day meditation, preparing for our the equinox shift. Also, they've been pushing to the virtual digital world with this whole multiverse concept happening. We see what's happening where you have the digital wallet, you have the crypto system, your crypto. They've been pushing this whole crypto blockchain system as a new way of doing business economically. That's another shift that's happening in dealing with the multiverse, from shifting from natural to normal, that whole concept that I was sharing before. And again, these are some of the things that we were sharing in relation to our series 3, part 3, dealing with being powerful, and some of the things that was happening in Hollywood or in the commercial world outside of what we know in the books we read in the past, knowledge we have gotten from our elders, and even from what we've seen past, present, and future. So for those who don't know about the CERN coming on, the discern and the CERN and the whole time shifting that has stopped, and there's a lot of stuff that's been happening throughout this whole shift, the multiverse shift, metaverse shift. And it's all about building up your power, man, and knowing your work. So part 4 series, we share about, powerful pioneers and some of the resources and services that we offer, workshops, should I say, to show our power as a community, because we say teamwork makes the dream work. So we come together and show some of our workshops where we're able to show our power and our work. So part 4 series, dealing with powerful pioneer and our work and our power. We talk about the power of the alkaline lifestyle and how important it is. You know, we could be working, preparing food for everyone out there in the world, but it's important that, you know, food is your medicine and it's a form of energy. So eating the right food and understanding the science of it, you know, dealing with the elements and everything I shared before would allow us to not only master this, building up our spiritual power and our divine work among ourselves and our family. But now if you would like to take this out to the world and have a business, showing your power and the knowledge you gain and expressing your work to humanity, this is a powerful workshop right here, the alkaline lifestyle. Definitely check it out. And also you can check out Powerful Pioneer Alkaline on YouTube so you can get more information on some of the workshops and some of the holistic doctors giving thanks. We also have our self-empowerment. You know, this self-empowerment goes into some of the things I was sharing earlier about empowering yourself, understanding the legal and lawful things in relation to your lifestyle and governing yourself. I'm going to have a meeting discussing with the team about some of the things that took place in relation to contracts and what this means. Very important to empowering yourself. Definitely we salute all the educators and presenters for this workshop here, self-empowerment, empowering yourself. We also have the author empowerment book club. You know, we talk about that in straight A's. If you want to be able to get your story out there, get your curriculum out there, we have the resources to help to get your book out, get it published, and put it out to the world. Show your power in writing, show your power in expressing your story, giving thanks. We also have our financial empowerment workshop. Our financial empowerment workshop, we talk about the science of spiritual economics. You know, I don't even have to go into it, but when we talk about spiritual economics, that brings both power and work together. We give thanks, and this is one of the things we practice in Powerful Pioneers. Ashe. We have the doula certification, home birthing. Just had a powerful meeting. In regards to the doula workshop. And the beautiful thing about this, yes, it's recommended for the ladies, of course, but we also open it for brothers. If you're a father looking to help out, this is a good craft to have. We also, of course, recommend our sisters to take on this tool as becoming a doula labor coach, just to have that knowledge. Is a good science of building oneself power, empowering self, and the expression of the power of bringing life in the world. And this is a good way that you can help your family out, handling work within a community, and also it could be a good business as well. So we definitely salute and acknowledge the science of power and work. We give thanks. Also, we have the Learning Lab. The Learning Lab, we have some wonderful things where we talk about the art of vending. You know, you create these wonderful products, these skill set that you have, these tools that you have. How do you express it to the world? So that's another form of power and work. You know, for all the mothers who are actually representing themselves out there, we give thanks, putting in that work, and now creating something for humanity to support. All the fathers who building up, you know, I remember from doing woodcraft work, now you can actually create something and sell it. The power of creating something, your work. And now the art of vending actually educate on the science of how you can bring it out to humanity from different tier system. So learn the art of vending. So again, as we share these workshops, one of these workshops, all of these workshops, we have some more at smartmoneyuniversity.org, smartmoneyuniversity.org. All of these workshops, one of the concepts we share is you must learn in order to earn so you can return. So as you build up yourself by learning some of these sacred knowledge, you can earn from it. And in exchange, you can return it to humanity. Ashe. So I'm gonna close out with this one. I'm gonna close out with this, showing y'all our Pioneer Blackstream site. And let's up, peace. I'm gonna close out with showing y'all our new Powerful Pioneer Blackstream site. We have the About page. On the About page, if you can check out some of the latest videos, you can check out some of the workshops that we offer as well. We have some of the other events that we provide in the community and the testimonies. You can feel free to check out that on our Powerful Pioneer website. Also, we have our sign up page for those who would like to sign up to become a member or have their own streaming service. There's the different package deal that we offer in the community. Feel free to sign up for any of our resources. Also, we have the live events. So like I was sharing before, we have our Music Monday and our Friday, where we highlight different businesses, services, so we can show our power and support our power naturally in our craft and our family business. You can go here again to watch live to see any of our virtual businesses, our family of businesses coming together, unifying. Teamwork makes the dream work style. And also on Fridays, we have our what we call virtual mall, our Blackstream virtual mall, coming together, unity in a community via technology. So again, check out the website, powerfulpioneers.com. That's powerfulpioneers.com. Also, you can check out our Blackstream website, that's blackstream.live /powerfulpioneerstv, blackstream.live /powerfulpioneerstv. And again, like I was sharing before, check out the first series. The first series, that's part 1 on YouTube on Powerful Pioneers TV. So as you hear this, when I put this out, you know, you can connect the dots. And also, you know, as we continue to mobilize in real time, powerful pioneers showing our power, showing the work that we naturally do in our community, unifying to build our family, to build better communities, to establish powerful businesses. Stay tuned. We have some powerful events happening. Stay tuned to our tour, and we give thanks. We give thanks for this series. This is part 5. Ashe, ashe, power.